So, hi everyone, I'm Dr. Akita, and I'm a board certified family medicine physician with additional training in functional medicine here in practice in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Emily.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Emily. I am a board certified family medicine physician located right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm excited about our conversation today because we're going to be talking about something that every single winter comes about, and not just in our melanated communities, but in every community. We're going to talk
Yes.
about low vitamin D, low mood, low energy, and the confusion between being sad and being deficient.
Yeah, because there can definitely be some overlapping symptoms. And we'll
Yep.
talk about why taking vitamin D with K2 is important because the science is clear that is often an overlooked combination.
Yes, it is. So, in the first part of our discussion, we have to start with a little bit of education first. Let's
Yes.
start with the physiology of what happens in our body. To be quick, melanin is beautiful. We know that. But melanin also acts like a natural sunscreen. So, it's going to reduce your vitamin D production in your skin by up to about 80 to 90%.
So that means that if someone has more melanin, they may need longer in the sunlight for their
Mhm.
body to produce the vitamin D. It's not a race conversation, it is science.
Yes, it is. And to think about how long you have to be outside in the sun, if you're a lighter skinned person such as myself, I don't need very long in the sun to be able to kickstart that vitamin D production in my skin. But if you are a darker skinned person, sometimes you can need up to 40 to 60 minutes for that vitamin D production to start in your skin compared to someone with lighter skin.
Dr. Emily and I trained together, and I remember during that time, whenever a patient would come in feeling down, feeling sad, feeling low
Mhm.
energy, low mood, that is the time during residency I was taught check a vitamin D. And
Right.
oftentimes I would check it and it would be low. And it was just really
Mhm.
amazing because when we replenish it, when we replete it, there was a quick response to the symptoms. And so
Yep.
vitamin D is a lab test that you definitely want during your annual physical and especially during this time, so you know where you are, and that can help determine how much you may need to take during the winter months.
Yeah, and I just to add a quick story, some people may say, well, do you really see a difference? I recall early in practice, I had a patient, similar situation. It was about this time, it was the end of November, beginning of December,
Hmm.
and she just had low mood, low energy, and everything. So, I ran several things, including checking a thyroid level. But what we found was that her vitamin D was 7. I'm like, no wonder
Yes.
you feel bad. You have like no vitamin D production. What is going on? So it
Yeah.
really does make a big difference.
Yeah. After I trained in Charlotte with Dr. Emily, I moved to Boston and I was working and also back in school. But I
Mhm.
took care of a large population of patients that just moved from Haiti. And we saw this over and over again because even with melanin in the skin, if we're living closer to the equator, our vitamin D levels are going to be naturally higher. But they
Right.
were moving from Haiti up to Boston, where
Boston.
the days
Hmm.
were short. It was really, really cold.
Hmm.
And that played out again, where checking the vitamin D and repleting the levels or the amounts really made a difference in health. And so we're
Yeah.
talking about vitamin D now as it relates to mood support, as it relates to
Hmm.
immune function, but vitamin D helps with so many functions in the body. And what we see now, especially like in primary care, is people
Hmm.
presenting with low mood, with fatigue. And
Right.
so having this level can help determine if those symptoms are from SAD. Dr. Emily mentioned it, that is seasonal affective disorder,
Right.
versus a low vitamin D.
Yep, totally agree. And in talking about seasonal affective disorder, what are some of the things that you may be feeling? And you may say, oh my goodness, I wonder if I have this. So we've already discussed several things: the decreased mood or depressed mood. You may feel more tired than normal.
Yeah.
That may translate into, I have more of an appetite and I want to eat more and I don't understand why. You may also be craving carbs, which will lead to trouble sleeping. And from a
Mhm.
primary care perspective, this can look very similar to having a vitamin D deficiency.
Yes. Yes, there is often the overlap. I mentioned earlier getting the levels checked during your physical, but
Hmm.
especially if you are taking vitamin D throughout the year and then your sun exposure may change, the winter is a good time to have that level rechecked because that will help us know as your doctors how to manage your symptoms.
Yep, totally agree. And this is the time of year when it's really important to distinguish between the two.
Yeah.
So if you're a person who maybe had your physical earlier in the year, go back and see your doctor if it's going into the fall or it's going into the winter and you're starting to feel those symptoms. That way we can really help you as your primary care physician determine, is this truly seasonal affective disorder? Is this truly a vitamin D deficiency, or do you have both? Because you can also have both things occurring at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, vitamin D is really interesting because we talk about, it being a vitamin, but it's actually a hormone. And what
Hmm.
hormones do in the body is signal across
Yes.
different aspects of the body. And so
Hmm.
vitamin D is closely related to serotonin and
Hmm.
melatonin. So serotonin is important for mood, energy, appetite.
Yep.
It's important for a lot of things, and it's a major communicator between the brain and the body. And
Yep.
then also with melatonin, we often hear about people taking melatonin to help sleep, but your
Hmm.
body naturally produces it. And
Yes, it
so
does.
these are both things that are naturally produced that are influenced by vitamin D. So if we
Hmm.
see a decrease in vitamin D level, it makes sense why there can be a change in mood, why there can be a
Yes.
change in energy and all the things that can be related to our total body health.
Hmm.
So once I check the level in a patient, then the next question is, what do we do with this number? How do we replete the level? How do we get it back up to optimal level? And so I advise people to take vitamin D
Hmm.
supplementation. Vitamin D is not something that you can get from a lot of foods.
Right.
Yes, milk can be fortified in it, but I
Hmm.
mean, it's in egg yolk, it's in mushrooms. Wild fatty fish may have vitamin D, but taking
Hmm.
the supplement really is probably the quickest way to get the level back up. And there's a little nuance to that. It's best to take
Yep.
it with vitamin K, with K.
Mhm.
So the combination of vitamin D and K is best.
Yeah, I was just thinking when we, as family doctors, we take care of everyone, we say from cradle to
Yeah.
grave. And, when babies come in with their moms for their 1 week visit, we tell them, the mom, supplement baby with vitamin D, whether you're
Yes.
breastfeeding or not now, because before it was just breastfeeding because mom, there's no way you could take in enough vitamin D to supplement yourself and baby. And sometimes that came with a lot of guilt. So there's a lot of reassurance and education that we give to our patients on why vitamin D is important and how to take it in. And now that we know, with medical knowledge increasing all the time, it's important to
Mhm.
know. We used to then tell patients, do vitamin D with K2. Now that we
Yeah.
know, your K2 is what tells the calcium where to go. So it tells the vitamin D where to go so that it doesn't hang out in your blood vessels, so that it goes into your bones, into your teeth, etc. So it's important for you to ask your doctors these questions so that we can help you understand why you need to make this change in your supplement.
Yes, and when you're shopping for the supplement, you'll see different
Mhm.
versions. We prefer to advise people to use the MK7 because it
Yes.
does a better job of directing the vitamin K, like where to go and activating the
Mhm.
yes, the calcium.
Yep, agreed. And this combination is really going to optimize your health. It's going to optimize how your vitamin D is used and how it works in your body. So if you're going to get these supplements and take them, you want to do them the right way. And that's why we're
Yes.
here to help educate you guys.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about, vitamin D and taking the K with it, and which one we prefer, being that of MK7. Let's talk about some of the supplements and brands that we like to use. And I want to
Yeah.
hear from you, Dr. Akita, some of the ones that you prefer in your practice.
Well, I you typically use like one or two brands most often in the practice. I prefer Metagenics and Pure Encapsulations. And
Hmm.
so either I'm advising people to get them from our office or I get them from the website. The other thing too is in the office, we offer vitamin D shots. And so these are high dose. Sometimes when we're sending prescriptions to the pharmacy, we can prescribe the 50,000 units to take once a week, but we
Right.
offer them shots directly into the muscle. in
Hmm.
the office. It really helps with absorption. And so we have people coming in for those wellness services all year, but then especially during
Yeah.
the winter months.
Yeah. Yep, totally agree. And we also offer injections in our office. I'm not at this point keeping supplements in the office. I also use the Metagenics brand because you introduced me to that brand. What I really like about it is that I can read, the science behind it. So I feel
Yes.
confident sharing with my patients who come in and ask for a recommendation because otherwise it's like, well, you really got to read the label of the brand you're buying in the store and make sure you're keeping up
Mhm.
with side effects, which can be overwhelming sometimes. So it's
It
good to
can.
know that we both offer those additional services for our patients in our office.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, if we're going to take the time as, people, whether we're practicing or we're a patient,
Mhm.
to take a vitamin, investing our time and our resources in it, you want
Yes,
the product to be as clean as possible. You want to
right,
make sure you're taking what you think you're taking. And so it
right,
is best to go with a trusted brand. And I also want to
absolutely.
add that I have done rechecks on people who say, no, I'm taking it every day. And the
Hmm.
vitamin D level has not budged. So
Wow.
that's also like through the years, which has led me to really rely on just certain brands that I know are trusted, are
Yeah.
verified. You're going to get what you say, what they say
Mhm.
you're getting or you're taking. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great point because a lot of times people bring in these supplements and I look at the back of the bottle and I'm like, I don't know what half of this stuff is that's in this vitamin. So that's a
Yes.
great point also to know that when you recheck the blood for these vitamins and supplements, you recommend that you were seeing the difference in our patients.
Yeah, and one more thing, especially for people who are coming, who may have a lot of sensitivities to chemicals and additives, you want to make sure that you're not taking things with extra fillers.
Right.
So the trusted brand, matters for that too.
Agreed. All right. Well, we are coming to the end of our time together, but as you know, we are not going to leave you with a nice summary and some action steps. So here's
Yes.
what we want you guys to take away from our talk today.
Yeah, I would say number one, whether you have deeply melanated skin or not, get your vitamin D level checked. You need
Mhm.
to know what it is at baseline, but especially in these winter months, because
Definitely.
vitamin D can be the answer to, some of the symptoms you may be experiencing.
Hmm. And that's a great segue for number two, which is if your mood drops every winter, do not automatically assume that it's sad or seasonal affective disorder. Go see your doctor. Ask to have your vitamin D checked so that you can be sure of what you're being treated for. And again, it could be both and it could be one or the other.
Yes. I would say number three, um, if you're going to supplement vitamin D, we do recommend you combine it with vitamin K and MK7 to be specific, because that will likely lead to the best outcome.
Yes,
Mhm.
agreed. And right now in the winter is a perfect time to get ahead of it because the sunlight, your mood, your hormones, your
Yeah.
metabolic health, all of that is connected
Yes, yes. Nothing is in isolation.
at all.
So, please share this with someone that will benefit. That's likely everyone. And and check in with your friends and family. Yes, like what is your level? I had mine checked last week. I've adjusted my plan for the next few months. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can consider the brands that we share. They're the ones that we trust. But if there's any supplement choice, always look it over with your doctor, ask them questions. You can refer back to this video because we're here to educate you guys as our community.
Yes. So thank you for joining us today. We look forward to joining you again. Please follow us here or on Instagram. I'm at Dr. Akita Evans. On Facebook, Dr. Akita Evans, MD, MPH.
And follow me as well, you guys. You can not only find me here on YouTube, on Instagram, I'm Friendly Neighborhood Family Doc, as well as Facebook.
All right. So we look forward to seeing you back here next month. Hope that you all have a safe and joyous holiday.
See you guys next month.